You know, I'm a little bit worried about this, Prezi. I'm not sure I really understand it completely.
I mean, if you weren't such an old hag, Carol.
Honestly, I can't believe you said
You
that to me, Real.
never
Really?
understand
You
what we're
said
talking
that to
about.
me?
Sorry for that, but I think it's in it.
Oh.
What?
Go
Listen,
you!
you're just a
You're a
raghead, Abdul. I can't understand a
Just
thing
second,
that
just
you
second.
say.
What you just called me?
Yeah?
What you
But
just called
can
me?
understand
Yeah.
anything he says.
Actually, this kid, she speak with you and you just
She's
jump
a
on me?
bimbo. She's just a bimbo. She's just a kid.
You!
I can't believe it.
Oh my
أنا
God.
أقول بس
Don't
كده خلاص
talk
سكت
to
على
me.
وجهك الحين.
I hate
Stop!
Stop! You guys have to remember, don't discriminate when you communicate. Thank you. Our team wants to tell you about communication in relations to sexism, culturalism, and cultural identity. And I have a video on how it shows you how easily misunderstandings can happen.
Here's some money. What do we got here?
Now I would like to introduce Riel to talk about sexism.
Thank you. All right, sexism. There's two types of specific sexism. There is individual sexism, and this is where someone thinks because of your gender that you can't do something or can do something. I picked this picture of Frozen, and most of you are thinking, what the heck, right? This is one of the only Disney movies where a man does not save a woman, where she actually saves herself and her sister saves her. So I thought that was a good example. All right, individual sexism that we see in our lives today is usually where men think women have a role of a caretaker or belong in the home, shouldn't go to work, or just take care of the kids, which we know this is not true. Women are strong and we can go out there and just do our own little thing, right? So you shouldn't do it. The second is when women say men are pigs, which I'm sure all of you have heard. When we say this, we imply that men do not have any deep feelings or are incapable of it. And they're only concerned with the topical ones, if you know what I mean. Alrighty. Okay, have any of you women been walking down the street and you're looking good, right? And you hear that whistle or they're like, hey baby, and you're like, I do not know this person. You're not making eye contact right now, right? You wish they wouldn't do it and leave you alone, just let you go on your day because you're feeling good. This is a video that shows an ideal society, what they would say to you.
Hey, you want to hear a filthy word? Gender bias. Absolutely. Yes. I know. I'd like to show you the respect you deserve. Yeah. Well said. A woman's place is wherever she chooses. I appreciate your appearance is just one aspect of who you are. You know what I'd like to see? A society in which the objectification of women makes way for gender-neutral interaction, free from assumptions and expectations.
All right. So wouldn't you much rather be walking down the road and somebody say that to you than whistle at you? Right. Everybody would enjoy it. The second type of sexism is institutional sexism. And this is usually found in the business world. And it's where somebody treats you because of your gender with special privileges, or they don't give you special privileges. This is mostly seen in the business world because women still today are paid less than men for certain jobs. It's not that they can't do the jobs of men, and it's not that they can't do the quality of work. We don't really know why, but for some reason we have a bias against women that they just get paid less. I also have a question for you. Who in here has known or been divorced? Anybody known someone that's been divorced? Heard of it? All right, here we go. In the case of divorce with children, who usually gets the custody of kids?
The mother.
The mother, right? This is a huge sexist situation within our court systems that's sexist against men. It's not that men can't make great parents or that women only are the good parents. It's just the way that our society thinks that children belong with their mothers, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, but we need to be open to both sides, and usually we aren't in that situation. So, I just want to remind you that when we communicate with people, we need to not use sexism or racism or anything like that, because it really just defines people and they're going to be less open to what you're saying to them. So I'm just going to remind you, don't discriminate when you communicate. I'm going to introduce Abdul, who's going to talk to you about cultural identities.
Thank you. Today I would like to speak about cultural identifier. Cultural identifier is a specific word used in talking to describe different groups. And that word changed over the time. In speech, be aware to not be racist and no heterosex and not allowed to say difference between others. Be equal with each other, and when you want to describe anything, be sure that you use general idea for different kinds of things. For example, mosque is a place of worship for a specific religion. So, can we say the mosque is the place of worship for all religions? So it's allowed to say that? We choose just one thing for general idea? Of course no, it's not allowed, because the mosque is a worship place for Muslims people, while the church is another place of worship for Christian people. So in this speech we have to be aware to use a right word for the right people, and do not say wrong word, and do not use different kind of word that will not fit what we are meaning. Next is race and nationality. All of you that know I'm international student, so I have different culture than what you got. And in my country we don't have anything, it's called race. We just follow our nationality. No matter if I'm white or black or not even my skin is different. So we just follow our country. And in America, there's something new for me, and it's really different that I didn't realize in the beginning, that some people, they treat themselves by their race. I will show you some example about what I'm speaking here. African American. There is specific kinds of group in America, they call themselves African American. And in my country, we also have black people, but we just call them Kuwaitis because we all just one family, one group. We came from that country, so we prefer to call themselves, all of us and all of that kind of different groups, Kuwaitis, no matter what we are. And second example, that Native American. Native American, they prefer to call themselves Native American. While the people who came from India and they got the same skin as Native American, they prefer to call themselves by Indian people, not Native American. Also, the last example about people, about European American, they prefer to call themselves European American. While the overseas people who came from different countries, they prefer to call themselves by their nationality. For example, German people, they are German, not European American, and they do not follow any race. So, in conclusion, be aware to use the right word for the right group, and do not treat people by their race or by their colors, and be equal with everyone and use the right thing for them. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce Carol. She's gonna speak about ageism. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I want to talk to you about ageism. Ageism is when you put people in a box and you assign a trait to them based on the number of years that they lived. So for instance, you could say young people have no work ethic. And maybe you could say that old people are feeble and they're not able. But that's really unfair, because just because the number of years you lived, it doesn't assign a trait to you. It doesn't mean you're this or that. I'm 57 years old, and I don't know how to act my age. I don't know how to dress my age. I wouldn't want to be issued a uniform or a list of rules, you know. Okay, you're 57 now, girl, you can't wear that. That's not going to happen in my world. So we have to allow people to just be who they are. And you have to expect the unexpected. Sometimes you can say, oh, old people aren't able to do things, but this is a good example of maybe they are.
We have an emergency here. This is an emergency situation. Cody, hey, chill out. It's not that big of an emergency.
I can't get out of here! Don't be like that!
Lady, what is wrong with you? Get a grip on yourselves, people.
Bad kitty!
Too bad. So, you need to take an opportunity to speak to people who are older, because they have stories to tell you that you won't be able to hear. Take that opportunity now. People who lived through World War II or the Depression, or maybe they know your family history that you won't be able to get anywhere else except maybe written down. But it's not the same as when someone tells you and someone who was there. A lot of times, people are discriminated against individually, and they're stereotyped. And actually, in our presentation today, we've actually stereotyped a little bit, because we picked the obvious people to do each subject. But sometimes it can work for you, but in other times, people don't want to be stereotyped. Older people are a lot of times portrayed as incompetent, non-romantic, or complaining. In the media, a lot in advertisements and TV movies, old people are all the time. They're complaining, they're whining, they can't do anything, they're crippled, they're not, you know, somebody who jumps out of a plane or somebody who can really do things. And this is a really good example of how they are portrayed. This has subtitles, and they go by a little bit fast, so be sure to read them, because it's pretty entertaining.
Sag mal, Papa, habe ich dich noch gar nicht gefragt. Wie kommst du denn eigentlich mit dem neuen iPad zurecht, was wir dir zum Geburtstag geschenkt haben?
Gut.
Mit den ganzen Apps kommst du klar?
Was denn für Apps? Geh mal bitte einen Schritt zur Seite. Was denn?
When you talk about a person and you preface it with a describer, then you're putting them in a box. For instance, if you refer to a man as that old man, or you say that woman, she's that gay woman, or that black man, or that guy from Kuwait. And then you put them in a box, and that's what they become. They become that identifier. You're attaching a trait to them that you're assuming that everyone that is that trait is that person. So you need to give people an opportunity to just be who they are without attaching it to them. And make sure to treat old people with respect. In other countries, they treat people with respect. They love their wisdom and their age, and they go to them. In our country, we kind of push people out with early retirement. We don't respect them as much as we should. We don't care for them as much as we should. And so you need to remember, when you're talking to an older person, don't yell at them or talk real slow. Because if they need you to speak up, or they need you to talk a little slower, they'll let you know. Don't assume they're deaf or they're simple. So always remember to treat people with respect, and it doesn't matter what age they are. That's the best part of not discriminating, is just having respect for people. And also that remember not to discriminate when you communicate. Ethan, would you like to come up and do the conclusion?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
He just told you how to be aware when you communicate and not be sexist, ageist, or culturally insensitive when you communicate. We hope you will take this information and put it to good use and not discriminate when you communicate. Thank you.
Abdul, I'd really like to know more about your country. It looks so beautiful.
Thank you very much. Actually, I would like to learn more about America and about the country here also.
That's wonderful.
Our group totally respects your wisdom, and we love what you bring to the table.
Thank you, Bria, and we really appreciate your youth and vitality. And Ethan, you did an awesome job.
You did.
And with that,
We
Thank you.